Hey, good evening on this Monday afternoon. Hang on, I gotta kick the dogs out of the office right quick. Come on, out, out. Sorry about that. They tend to sing and make a lot of noise. So, how are y'all doing? Hey, Liana, good to see you waving. See you survived the weekend. I'm hoping that you and some of the other girls who ride will join in and make a bunch of comments about our experiences from this weekend. Hey, Noah. Hey, Moto Kid. What's your name, dude? Tell me who you are so I can say hi officially. And I appreciate you guys joining in. Whew. I'm not as tired as I thought I would be today. But let me tell you what. Makeup to Mud's first inaugural motocross camp was pretty good. Hey, Lauren, what up, what up? Man, feels like I was just talking to y'all yesterday, like face-to-face or something, right? Hey, Rylan, Calgary. Whoa, it snows up there, doesn't it? That's awesome. Welcome, welcome, Rylan. So tonight's topic is simply going to be about the experiences that we all had this weekend at Floresville, Texas, at Cycle Ranch, who hosted the first Makeup to Mud motocross camp by Toyota. And y'all, Toyota, they put on a good show, but more importantly, Cycle Ranch is an awesome place. Y'all are going to hear me talk about Cycle Ranch and talk this place up. The owner, Todd, I met him. He is a crazy guy. He loves motocross. He loves motorcycles. He loves dirt bikers, and he's a cool guy. If you get a chance to go spend a weekend down in Floresville at Cycle Ranch, do it. You will enjoy it, I guarantee. So, where to begin? Oh my gosh. Well, basically, it's kind of like the same thing that happened when at the Girls Who Ride invited us all to go be a part of her Makeup to Mud feature shoot in New York in March. Once we found out about the camp and we figured out all the rules about how to be able to go and qualify and everything, next thing you know, the Girls Who Ride stepped up for Liana again, and they're like, we're there. And it was so cool. There were so many parts to get together, flights to coordinate. How are they going to get their gear here? Because Liana flew and Lauren flew. And then the other Lauren flew. And then Megan and Brian drove, and we drove, and so we had the shortest drive this time. JC, what up, girlfriend? I got your shades for you. But so coordinating 7 of us from different parts of the country to get together again. Hey, Aaron, nice of you to join, man. It was crazy. Our group chat was blowing up left and right about, well, okay, we have this problem solved. What's the next thing? Part of it was somebody had to own a Toyota. The Makeup to Mud athletes, like Liana, could bring 3 guests. A Toyota owner could bring 3 guests. And so it got a little complicated, but, you know, we worked it out, and we all showed up, and it was so cool. One of the things that I want to start with, and this kind of goes back to 2 weekends ago at the Gutbuster, you know, talked about that last week. It was an awesome experience for all of us and our significant others, our partners, our spouses, whatever you want to call them. The support that we all have as women riders to be able to do this is simply amazing from the people who are behind us. And we couldn't do this without people like my husband, Joe, and without Pete and Brian and Noah. You know, the guys just stepped up for us. And at the Gutbuster the other weekend, even though our guys were racing, they're scrambling to fix a tire, they're scrambling to fix my clutch, they're scrambling to make sure our helmet lights were working. And they were still in the middle of a race, but they took the time to take care of us too. And so this whole discussion that we're going to have, there's a movement going on, y'all. There's a movement in the world about how women are finally, the perception of women and their purpose in life is finally changing to where we aren't in that typical stereotype mold. We are allowed to step outside the box. And that's really, really important, not just for women, but people in general. It's important for you to not feel like you're pigeonholed into a specific attitude or a specific personality, so to speak. I was very lucky. I was very blessed. My mom and dad let me grow up however I grew up. If I wanted to be in the basement, learn how to use tools with dad, I was. If I wanted to be up in the kitchen, learning how to cook, I could have been, but mom didn't make me, so I wasn't. I was down in the basement drilling holes in 2x4s, learning how to use a hand drill, and then learning how to nail and use a hammer and nail, and all that kind of stuff. But plant-based, what up? Nice for you to join us tonight. But the big thing is there's a movement in the world, and it's not just in the dirt bike world, y'all. It's everywhere. It's in industry. It's in business. It's in Fortune 500 companies. It's in every aspect of life where finally we're starting to see people. Hey, nice to see you, sister. Last time I saw you was back in March, wasn't it? But people are finally starting to be accepted for exactly who they are. And, like the pressures for my brother, because he was the firstborn son to my dad from that generation. Firstborn son should be an athlete, should be tough as nails, should be a leader, should be this, should be that. Y'all, I wouldn't have wanted to grow up that way. It's hard to grow up and meet those expectations. And on the flip side of that, it's hard for women to meet the expectations that the male population, not bashing here, but that the male population has been brought up to believe about what the women or the female role in society is. And the coolest thing about this weekend was all the women, all the females from various ages that were there. Some seasoned veterans, some learning to ride for the first time, some with a year or two under their belt. It all varied. We had pro-level athletes to people who rode they went to camp and rode a dirt bike for the very first time at camp. And it was simply amazing. And y'all, I do got to say this. The women outnumbered the men at this camp, but not in a bad way. And that's the thing that we got to hold on to, because some people, they're resistant to change. And this camp, it was about women riding, but it glorified that anybody can ride. That's the whole thing. Anybody can ride. Some people can't walk and chew gum, but you can put them on a dirt bike and they dang sure can rail. And that's the thing. And I think what we all will agree about with dirt bikes and riding in general, hey Claw, glad you made it. Riding in general is that it creates a confidence in a person. It doesn't matter what sex you are when you're on the bike. What matters is, can you operate it? Can you make good decisions? All that kind of stuff. But it builds confidence. And it builds a better person, because we learn about responsibility. Got to take care of the bike. We learn about responsibility for other people. Somebody's down on the track. You stop. You ask them if they're okay. If you need to, you pick them up. If you have to, you go find the medics. The race is not that important, because especially in America, y'all know winning is everything. But you know what? Sometimes it's not about the win. Sometimes it's about, how did you get there? We didn't, technically we didn't finish the Gutbuster a week ago, because we called it quits at about 12:30 that night. But we got there and we all rode and we dealt with adversity. And that's the other thing about racing and riding, is you're always going to be thrown some kind of adversity, whether it's your pickup getting totaled the week before you're supposed to road trip to Texas for the Make Up to Mud camp for our girl Megan. Or you get to the track and all of a sudden you got a flat tire for no reason. How are you going to deal with that? You going to pitch a fit and lay down and cry? Or are you going to find a way to fix it? Find a way to be able to live to ride another day. So the whole weekend was really cool about not just empowering women, but empowering people to ride. And I think that was really important. I was really, really amazed with the vibe at the camp, the vibe at the facility. It was just very chill, very relaxed. We started late yesterday, especially. People were moving really slow. The heat had kicked in Saturday afternoon, and I don't think anybody was in a hurry to get out in their gear. We were supposed to start classes at 9, I think, and didn't start till 9:30-ish. But hey, it's all right. But the vibe was just, hey, we're all there to do the same thing, which is ride dirt bikes. And for me, that's one of the things I have loved the most about dirt bikes, is that when we all get together, it doesn't matter whether you're, doing cross country, trials, flat track, motocross, supercross, it doesn't matter. We're all coming from such varied walks of life and doing this thing. We're all nutcases. We're on motorized horses, flying them as fast as we can. And sometimes they slam dance us and knock us in the head, but we all are talking the same language. It doesn't matter whether we're college educated or high school educated. It doesn't matter if we go to work in a suit or if we go to work in a nurse's uniform or if we go to work for the cement company and drive a cement truck. It doesn't matter, because when we all get on the dirt, that's the language we talk. And I think that's the important thing everybody's got to take away is, we are a very small community in this huge world of multiple communities, all funneling into the community of humanity. So when we all get together like that, and, for me on race weekend, nobody talks politics, nobody talks religion, nobody talks Dallas Cowboys. The only thing, the general conversation is, hey, who's got a TV and a dish so we can watch Supercross tonight? That's the conversation. And then from there, it's, how'd you do on the track? I struggle with this part. What did you do? And then talking about, did you fall any? What gave you problems? Was there a really fun, cool part of the track? And we all start chewing the same dirt and telling stories like that. And that's one of the things I also wanted to point out. Our group chat that we have for At the Girls Who Ride is we talk about bikes. We don't talk about clothes unless it's gear. We talk about gear. We talk about boots. How do they fit? We talk about doing stuff to our bike. Y'all, there's a bunch of us that we know how to work on our bikes. And I think that's very important as a rider. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You should know how to work on your bike. You should know when your bike is running poorly, but more importantly, why is it running poorly? So you can help diagnose the problem, maybe even help fix the problem. But I kind of digress there. The whole thing is all about coming together as community. And man, we were community this weekend. Oh my gosh. I met everybody from all over the place, and it was fun. And I'm not a motocrosser, y'all. I don't jump, but I cleared a tabletop. It's a little one, but I cleared a tabletop. All the way I cleared a tabletop. Now, Megan cleared the step up. Yeah, I didn't even come close to that. But that's okay. That's all right. I was good with it. I worked on my cornering because that's one of the places that I really struggle on a motocross track. And in our torn racing, frequently our cross-country track also incorporates some of a motocross track. And I lose valuable time because I have very bad woods riding habits on a motocross track. And I lose time and speed there. So I did the cornering training session twice. I did it Saturday and Sunday. I worked on stuff, and then I went and rode with some of the beginners. I went over there and helped with them and stuff. So, I really figured I'd have better words for you guys to tell about this experience. All these women, we had 14 of the Make Up to Mud athletes there. And if you go to Supercross, and read their bios. Y'all, we're talking about educated people. Liz Hooker is an oncology nurse. And, I mean, we have people that, some of those athletes they're in marketing and they're in, you know, high pressure jobs, and they race dirt bikes. So, yeah, Aaron, I know I didn't miss Oak Hill. Aaron, I don't particularly care for Oak Hill. You know, I'm a woods girl. I like to bounce off the trees. I don't like to jump off the ground. That's just my thing. I'll bounce trees, not jump. But, so anyway, it was amazing to hear their stories and of various ages. The oldest Makeup to Mud athlete was Miss Pat, and she's 60. And she's a motivational speaker and a life coach. And she also trains trainers who work with riders. I hope I can be like Pat. But so just seeing the wide variety of women. We had a couple from Hawaii. And yeah, ADV woman, that's right, Mo, that's right, Claw. So anyway, what did I take away from all of this? Wow, family. My family just grew exponentially after this weekend from the amazing connections I made. And we've already started connecting on Instagram. And the other thing is that, you know, y'all, they're all people just like you and me. I know we saw them on TV and all that stuff, but they get up and go to work. I know Liz Hooker got up and went to work today. She told me yesterday after we got done riding, she had to be at work today. A lot of people had to go to work today. So they're just normal people. But they're amazing in their commitment to the sport, but also the commitment to continue opening doors for women, girls, young ladies, to feel comfortable to ride, to be confident enough to throw a leg over the bike. And it's scary. It's totally scary. And in motocross, more so because, y'all, there aren't a whole lot of women, females, that race motocross. I think there are more in the off-road world. So that's a very scary, intimidating thing. And when I first started racing, my class was called, the women's class was called the Powder Puff class, to appease the women who kept saying, hey, we want to race, we want to ride. And back then, there were some very old-fashioned people in charge who had some old-fashioned ideas and didn't think that women had any place being on a dirt bike, much less on the track at a dirt bike race. So they said, okay, fine, we'll give you a class. We'll call you the Powder Puff. I didn't take kindly to being called a powder puff, and I didn't take kindly having people patronize me. Didn't like that at all, because I was dang serious. And, you know, the guys would always make jokes about us. I remember this. They're like, what are y'all talking about on the line? Y'all talking about there's a sale at Penny's? And we're like, no, we're talking about if you get in my way, I'm going to run you over. You know, we're talking whole shot strategy. But that was the mindset back then, you know. And that is changing. It's still slow, but it's changing. And Makeup to Mud is very much a part of, let's make that change. Let's open those doors so that we can all enjoy riding. And that really is the message. I know there are guys on social media who have bashed the Makeup to Mud movement. And I'm sorry about that. You know, that bothers me. That's one thing I don't like about social media is people just say whatever comes to their mind, and they don't worry about the fact that they're talking about a human being who has feelings. Let me tell you what, every single one of those athletes that were featured this year and the year before and the year before that, they're all legit riders because they ride. They don't have to clear a double to be a rider. If you knew my mom, you know, we did Mom a couple of weeks ago, talked about her for an hour. If you throw your leg over the bike, Sierra, there you go. That's right. You ride. You are a rider, you know. And Liana and I as well through Instagram DMs and stuff have been asked, hey, I want to be a girl who rides, be part of At the Girls Who Ride. Do you ride? Well, there you go. Do you follow At the Girls Who Ride? There you go. You're a rider, you're a racer, whatever. You're a dirt biker. And championships don't make you a dirt biker. Being brave enough to throw your leg over the saddle and start that sucker and ride it, that's what makes you a dirt biker. So, but Sierra, what was the best part about this weekend for the athletes? What did you guys enjoy the most? Because I enjoyed getting to ride with Liz and Jordan Hooker on Sunday. That was fun. And y'all, I actually did several laps on the motocross track, the big one. I did. I kind of spoted it on occasion, but I was doing it. So, but I was curious as to what the M2M athletes took away from this whole experience, from being on the other side, because you guys were, instructing, you were being coaches, you were helping work the event and that kind of thing. It had to be cool for y'all to get together all in one place and be able to share stories, but also maybe to get to meet some of the kids, the girls, the women who are following you guys and probably send y'all messages and ask you questions. It was an awesome experience for us as just getting to go. And my little Maddie Hidalgo, she's like, I'm going back next year. You should have seen the look on her face when I said, Maddie, you got to know somebody who has a Toyota. She looked at her daddy and said, we're going to have one by next year. So Maddie's already plotting on how to get to Make Up to Mud camp. But Liana, I loved meeting everybody, how we all came together as a family. Yes, that's what the Girls Who Ride is all about. No matter who we are, we all share the passion. That's exactly it. Meeting everyone who attended, that was huge for us just to see the turnout of the event. Were y'all expecting that nobody was going to come? Were you expecting it to be a really small turnout, like maybe just local riders and stuff like that? Because let me see, there was somebody from Maryland, I think. I never went and looked at the map. They had a big map under the pavilion. You could go put a push pin where you were from. And actually, up around the Fort Worth area, there were 6 or 7 pins up there. JC and I were 2 of those pins. And then Maddie is from Granbury, so she wasn't one of those pins. And her friend Courtney was out from Winters by Abilene. So I heard there was somebody from Maryland, and y'all, we had people from Hawaii there. That was pretty cool. That was a seriously long flight, I'm sure. But it was, yeah, I can't, y'all, normally I have words. I got feels. This is an awesome thing that's happening. Actually, Aaron, that we tried that, but you actually have to be the owner. We can't just borrow the Toyota. Whoa, Washington State, that was a haul, Lauren. Denver, yep. I did hear a couple of the people from Colorado talking. And the heat was brutal. It got everybody. Yeah. The Texans got hit by the heat because this was our first really hot weekend of riding. So y'all don't feel bad. We all felt it. I slept really hard last night. So I slept hard Saturday night too. But find a way to support the Make Up to Mud athletes. Friend them on, send them, follow on Instagram, whatever. Just don't be a creeper stalker and ask for their phone number. But, they'll probably follow you back. They're people just like you and me. Let me see. Hawaii, Colorado, Texas, Maryland, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Ohio, New Jersey. Yeah, so it was an awesome experience. God, I can't even begin to... I don't even know what else to tell y'all unless you ask me questions. Florida, Georgia, yeah. I need to do a big shout out to my husband, Joe. He made sure we got there, and he enjoyed it just as much as I did. And, he always makes sure I'm taken care of, that the bike's ready to go. And he made sure 2 of my bikes were ready to go. So I got to say a big thank you to Joe. He's not just the bus driver. And sadly, his trusty old 2006 Honda CR250 locked up. And that was on Saturday. He got to jump like Weston. He got to work with Weston Pike, and then his bike locked up. So he didn't get to ride his bike for any of the other sessions. But he did ride the YZ. He also rode my Sherco a little bit. But that's the other thing. Yeah, Lauren, he was the real MVP. I'll agree. But, you know, that's the thing, is the people behind us that help us do these things that we love and chase these dreams. As a matter of fact, he asked me tonight, he said, so is this going to be an annual trip, you know, make up to mud camp? And I'm like, yep. We may have to buy a new motorhome to make sure it gets there every year, but we're doing it. You know, Aaron, I had a guy, his name is Chris. He was, she was with one of the off-road support groups. He has a Sherco 300, and he came up and he looked at my bike and he goes, is that the 125? And I said, mm-hmm. And he got that gleam in his eye, and I said, want to ride it? And he was like, can I? And I was like, yeah. Several people rode it. Joe rode it. Yeah, Claw, I am very blessed. I'm very lucky to have somebody like Joe in my life. You're right. A lot of people didn't believe, Aaron, that it was a 125, because it sounds almost like a 250, and it doesn't quite look like a 125 either. So, and then somebody wanted to make fun of my Sherco, and I wouldn't let them. But also, the Yamaha guys that were there for the demo rides, I got to give a shout out to them. Those guys did fantastic, and they were phenomenal in making sure people got to demo the 2019 Yamahas and see what they were all about. They exhibited a lot of patience. They were put under a lot of stress and strain. But you know, for a first-time event, there were some glitches, but that's always going to happen. And I'm sure that, that Toyota is going to come back even bigger and better next year. And by the way, the Makeup to Mud contract has been renewed for 3 years. So they're going to do it for another 3 years, y'all. So if you want to be an M2M athlete, go to the website and fill out the application and see if you get picked, because it's definitely worth the experience. I know that it's hard when you do all the filming, but then afterwards it's, you know, it's an awesome experience. Just for us that did it with Liana, and, you know, she was the featured athlete and we were there with her, that was just so cool. It was worth every hour of the drive that JC and I made there and back. Was it 46 hours total driving, or 47, something like that? I don't even know. But, you know, guys, take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. Don't immediately say, oh, I can't because. Instead, turn it around and say, well, how can I make it happen? Because I will tell you that I qualified for and raced Loretta Lynn's back in 1986. And my father was very unhappy with me for doing that, because motocross was, and it still is, dangerous. And I did get hurt doing it. And people we know have been hurt doing motocross. But you get hurt doing anything, any sport. Anyway, it was the year I graduated from college. And I told my dad, I said, you know, I'm doing this not to make you mad. I'm doing it because I may never get another chance. And y'all, I never have had a chance to go back to Loretta's. So that was 1986. And at least I don't ever look back and go, God, I wish I had. And I had an amazing experience with the KTM factory mechanics. They were my mechanics on the line and in the pits. And it was an awesome experience. And I'm glad I did it then. I'm glad we drove to New York. I'm glad we drove down to Floresville. And where are we driving next? That's what I want to know. You just made it to Kentucky? What's in Kentucky besides humidity, Sierra? So anyway, yeah, that's really all I've got. I just wanted to give a big shout out to the whole Makeup to Mud thing, and to the courage of anybody who decides to ride a dirt bike. But more importantly, to encourage women, girls, females, to give it a shot. If you want to do it, do it. don't hold back and say, oh, it's a man's world, because I've been playing in that world for 37 years. And I've been taken out a few times. There have been some sketchy passes made by guys. It happens. Some of it was just racing. Some of it was just because I was a girl. It is what it is. But you know what? Any day we get to ride is a good day. So I really don't have much else. It was an awesome experience, and I want to thank Liana again for the gazillionth time for making all of this possible. It was so fun for all of us to come together this weekend and hang out and sweat together. And you're right, it is never too late to start. Dropping her off, headed to Ohio in the morning. Well, safe travels, Sierra. Okay, we had some gnarly storms that we drove through on the way home yesterday afternoon. We drove through Hamilton, Texas, just after that storm had ripped through, I guess, central Texas a little bit. Anyway, there was one of the buildings had the roof completely peeled off from the high winds. It wasn't a tornado. I think it was straight line winds because we got whooshed around and blown almost completely off the road in the motorhome. So please be safe in your travels that way. And from there, I can tell you there will not be a live IG conversation next Monday because I will be on my way back from New Orleans. I'm going to New Orleans this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming back on Monday. So no live next week, but then we'll see what we can come up with for, in the meantime, the following week. We'll take a break next week. That's all I got. Believe it or not, guys, I don't have many words. The smile. It was an awesome experience. I'm so glad I did it. Can't wait to do it again. I don't care if it's in the snow or if it's in the heat. I'm there. Right, JC? So, anyway, support Toyota. Give them a shout out. Support Supercross. Support Makeup to Mud. Their hashtag on Instagram is #lowercase makeup, the number 2 mud. And give them a shout out and do what I did. Go on to Supercross and look up the previous athletes and start requesting to follow them on Instagram. They're amazing people. So that's all I got, guys. Have a great day. Remember, any day we get to ride is a good day. So let's all live to ride another day, okay? Be kind to your fellow peeps and give everybody you love a hug. Love you guys. I'm out. Bye.